Welcome to another video. This is JC Diaz. In today's show, we have Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. This woman, who is dumb as a rock, because that's what she is, came out saying that every U.S. citizen should carry their papers from now on, so that if they're interrogated, if ICE agents want to stop us, we should comply and we should just carry our papers with us at all time to prove that we are U.S. citizens. I'm going to play this clip after we start the show, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on that matter. So let's go ahead and start the show, and I'll be right back.
What you cannot do is just go arbitrarily up to people or set up a checkpoint or go door to door and say, hey, you need to prove to us that you're a U.S. citizen.
And that is legal analyst Ellie Honig blasting Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. DHS Secretary Noem is getting slammed after declaring that all Americans should be prepared to show their IDs and papers to federal agents. Noem's clear ignorance about constitutional rights comes as ICE intensifies deportation raids in Minneapolis. Many agents have been filmed arresting people, including bystanders, simply because they refuse to answer questions or produce identification.
Why are we seeing Americans being asked on the street to provide proof of citizenship in Minnesota? Is that targeted enforcement? And are you advising Americans to carry proof of citizenship?
In every situation, we're doing targeted enforcement. If we are on a target and doing an operation, there may be individuals surrounding that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity.
There may be people surrounding the target who have to validate their identity. Well, as Ellie Honig points out, that is a clear violation of the Constitution's Fourth Amendment.
It's illegal and it's unconstitutional to require people to show their citizenship papers without some other basis to make a stop. So let me be clear. In order to stop somebody, detain them, question them for immigration purposes, an officer has to have reasonable suspicion. Now, that's a fairly low bar. It's lower than the bar that a law enforcement agent would need to make a stop or questioning for criminal purposes, but it's still a bar. It's not nothing.
Even conservative Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, in a case from September 2025, wrote an opinion that immigration agents do have to have reasonable suspicion to detain somebody even briefly and to question them.
The immigration officer needs to have some reasonable suspicion, articulable, meaning something you can explain in words to a court. Why did you stop this person? And Justice Kavanaugh gave immigration officers very broad latitude to do that. But even he reconfirmed just a few months ago that there is a bar. You have to show reasonable suspicion. You cannot just arbitrarily approach people and make them prove that they are in fact here legally.
But arbitrary is how ICE agents in Minnesota keep operating. And there have been countless instances where someone just taking a photograph, which is protected by the Constitution's First Amendment, has become grounds for arrest.
Every single action that our ICE officers take is according to the law and following protocols that we have used for years. That this administration has used, that the previous administration used, they are doing everything correctly.
Now, it may not be a surprise to hear Kristi Noem insist that ICE is doing everything correctly, following the law, and never making any mistakes. Still, for Noem to think her agents can demand people show IDs for being near ICE agents, that is frightening. And yet, Kristi Noem has struggled with U.S. constitutional basics before.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas
right
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President
habeas
Lincoln
corpus,
used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people.
Under habeas corpus, people also have a right to appear in front of a judge and challenge their detention.
Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea.
But Kristi Noem doesn't seem to understand that, and she is currently facing potential criminal contempt of court sanctions from the judge in the case of Abrego Garcia. The judge ordered DHS to stop the removal of Garcia from the United States. Noem ignored the judge's order.
Department of Justice has revealed that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made the final decision not to comply with the federal judge's order. The disclosure comes as Judge James Boasberg seeks to revive criminal contempt proceedings against Trump administration officials who authorized the flights.
On top of Noem flaunting judicial orders and demonstrating remarkable ignorance about constitutional law basics, Noem has long been a lightning rod when it comes to basic humanity. In a book she published a few years ago, Noem bragged about shooting her puppy to death.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem defending herself after revealing in her upcoming memoir that she once killed a dog. Noem deeming the 14-month-old pup named Cricket as, quote, untrainable, dangerous, and less than worthless as a hunting dog. Eventually taking the pooch to a gravel pit where she shot and killed it.
She said this puppy ruined the hunt by chasing pheasants and having the time of her life.
Do you think that sharing that anecdote, whether fairly or unfairly, cost you a shot at being his vice president?
You know, I would say that was a story from 20 years ago about me protecting my children.
Still, it's a story that Noem chose to put in her book just 2 years ago. Amidst Noem's judgment or lack of judgment about migrant deportations, she has become a magnet for controversy and protesters.
I'm very privileged and honored today to have my family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
And deportations!
The disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order.
That line from the protester dressed as a Catholic cardinal is said during exorcisms to get rid of a demon. A few minutes after that very same hearing in the hallway, Noem showed demonic judgment by using a relative's baby to try and block off the cameras and reporters.
Taking babies away from the family. You cannot use a baby as a business while you take away the rights of families. How dare you? How dare you?
Noem's lack of judgment also triggered controversy during the government shutdown. As most government employees were going without pay, Noem acquired 2 private jets, costing taxpayers nearly $200 million. Noem has reportedly awarded other multi-million-dollar contracts to business associates and friends. More recently, an ICE agent in Minnesota shot and killed Renee Good, and Noem's smears of Good came almost immediately.
This is the person who, within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What, is she hiding her face like her ICE agents now?
Dozens of House lawmakers have had enough.
This morning, I introduced articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. I am proud to have the support of almost 70 members of Congress already.
That's right, 70 House lawmakers have already signed off on Noem's impeachment, and their criticism of Noem is now coming every day.
Kristi Noem must resign immediately, or this body must act to impeach her.
Noem says she is not going anywhere, but there are some Trump officials at the White House who say her days in the administration are numbered. Top presidential aides are reportedly pushing Donald Trump to fire Noem, in part because of Noem's alleged incompetence. Trump has reportedly not made a decision. Still, Donald Trump has often soured on people who take attention away from him. And Kristi Noem keeps generating headlines thanks to her ignorance. By the way, the sheriff of Philadelphia has now warned the Trump administration not to send ICE agents into that city.
I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. you don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular from Kathy wrote, "This lady means business. I love her." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about DHS Secretary Kristi Noem getting shredded by legal experts over Noem's disregard for basic constitutional law. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.
And we are back with you guys. You know, this is getting out of hand. This is absolutely getting out of hand. Kristi Noem came out saying, as you guys just watched on this video, all U.S. citizens should be carrying their papers from now on. So when ICE agents can come to us, walk up to us and say, we have to prove to them that we are U.S. citizens. Does she not know the Constitution? Does this woman not know the Constitution? Does she know that they will be violating the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution? Does she not know that they need to have a probable cause to stop someone first? And then once you have probable cause, then you can go ahead and ask for ID. Is this going to be the new normal now? Is this going to be the new normal? Are we going to really allow our constitutional rights to be violated and nobody's going to do something? These people we have in place in this government are dumb as a rock. Do they not know the law? Do these people think that they're going to get away with this? What do we have the check and balance for? We have three branches of government in this country. The legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. So the executive branch is obviously out of control. The executive branch is doing whatever they want. What are the other two branches of government? What's going on here? Are we really in a dictatorship? Are we really going to allow our constitutional rights to be violated on the daily? Because it seems that this is what's going on now. ICE agents are literally beating up people because they're taking pictures. That's one of our constitutional rights. We can take pictures, we can record. As long as we are not impeding them or stopping them from doing their jobs, we are allowed to do that. And now, is this the new norm now? That we cannot video anymore? Are we in 1930 Nazi Germany? Is this what's going on in this country? When is the American people going to wake up? We told you they first were coming for the illegals, and then now they're going after the citizens. But there's levels to this. They were going after the illegals first. Now they're going after the naturalized citizens. And what do you think is going to happen after that if we allow it? They're going to go for the people who are born here. Something needs to be done. Kristi Noem needs to be impeached. She's as dumb as a rock. Dumbest woman I've ever seen in government. She's a lunatic who once shot a dog and she was happy about it. And these are the people that we have in power. What's going on in this country? This is not the American dream anymore. This is turning into the American nightmare. This is what this is turning into. So now people are allowed, ICE agents are allowed to literally beat you up for no reason. You're not allowed to record. You're not allowed to video. So we are literally losing our constitutional rights. Until when are we going to allow all this to happen? Until when? Where is the legislative branch? Where is the judicial branch to keep this executive branch in check? Where is it? What's going on here? Since when do we have ICE agents literally going into people's houses? No warrants, no nothing. Just they're going in there. You can tell that these people are not even trained. These people are not even trained. If they get mad at you because you pull out your phone and you start recording, They beat you up. 4 or 5 of them. This is not only one incident. This is been happening now all the time. U.S. citizens are being attacked by ICE agents. Where is the legislative branch and the judicial branch? Whatever happened to check and balances in this country? Until when are we going to allow our constitutional rights to be violated? Are we going to have to take action in our own hands? What's going on in this country? This is not the America I once knew. This is absolutely not the America I once knew. This is turning into a nightmare, into a dictatorship. How can someone so dumb be in charge of the Department of Homeland Security? This woman's IQ must be probably negative 20. If she thinks it's okay to violate our constitutional rights and now we have to carry our papers all the time with us just to prove to some ICE agent who happens to be probably the same nationality as me. Now we have to carry our passports, we have to carry our papers just to prove that we are US citizens. You need to have probable cause in order to stop someone first, and then you have the right to ask for ID. And that person actually can say, no, I don't want to show you my ID. And I can actually plead the fifth, and I don't have to tell you my name. And you are supposed to take me, once I refuse to do that, you are supposed to take me to a place where I can get due process. And I can state my case and you can state your case. That's the America that I know. That's the America I know. But no, these people are kidnapping people, beating them up, and then just throwing them out. And nothing is happening to these people. Until when are we going to accept this? Until when? It is unacceptable that these people on the executive branch, these people who are in charge, are literally running a dictatorship. That is exactly what's going on in this country. I don't remember ever in my life having to carry my papers all the time, other than my driver's license. I always carry my driver's license. So now I have to carry my passport with me all the time in my own country just to prove to these assholes that I'm a US citizen. Where is the legislative branch? Where is the judicial branch? When are we going to make these people keep in check? When are we going to keep them in check? I thought that was why we had 3 branches in the government. We have the judicial branch, we have the legislative branch, and we have the executive branch. The executive is run by the president. The legislative is run by the Congress and the Senate. And the judicial is run by all the courts, including the Supreme Court. And each one of these branches is supposed to hold the other branch accountable. And each one of these branches is supposed to hold the other branch accountable in the name of the American people, in our name, the people who pay taxes every year, the people who pay taxes, the people who live here, the people who go to work, the people who don't break the law. And this is what we are doing right now. What's going on here? Don't y'all start complaining when people start losing their shit and start acting up, because you know that's coming. You know that's coming soon, right? The way things are going, you know that's coming soon. Why are all the ICE agents in Minneapolis when in Texas is where they have the highest amount of illegal aliens? This is not about illegals anymore. This is about fear mongering. This is about scaring people. This is going to the blue states that don't agree with the president. This is what this is for. This was never about immigration. This was about retaliation. This is what this is about. And until we grow some balls as Americans and we start demanding that these people are held accountable, we are screwed, America. When is the legislative branch and when is the judicial branch? When are they going to grow some balls? I've been trying so much to stay quiet, to stay calm and not talk about this, but I can't do it anymore. I cannot do this anymore. Is anybody out there? Because I feel like I'm talking to myself, like that Eminem song says. Nobody cares about the American people, about our struggle anymore. Nobody cares about us. So now, because Kristi Noem says we have to carry our papers, we have to literally give up all our constitutional rights because these people want to, that's ridiculous. This is not the America I once knew. This is turning into 1930 Nazi Germany. This is what this is turning into. This is absolutely ridiculous that this is what the American people have to go to. I was all in when you said, when the president promised he was going to get rid of the illegal immigrants, he was going to get rid of all the people who were criminals, who were selling drugs. I was all in. But this is not about that anymore. This is about putting fear in the American people. This is what's going on. You are putting fear in the American people. You want us to get used to this state of police. What's going on here, man? What is going on here? You know what's funny is these people who are in charge are always talking about other people's IQ and all that. Your IQ level, I don't even know if you have IQ. Do you even have IQ? Do you go to law school? And if you did, what law school do you go to? Do you make it up? Because I went to college. I studied criminal justice. I didn't even go to become, I didn't finish. I have my associate's degree in criminal justice, and I know more than you. And you're the Secretary of Homeland Security, and I know more about constitutional rights than you do. You should be ashamed. All of you should be ashamed. If we don't grow some balls in this country, something bad is going to happen here. We need to grow some balls. I am done playing nice. I am done being nice, talking nice. I am done. So we now have to give up our constitutional rights for some dumbasses who are running the government. We have to give up our constitutional rights because of them. Now we have to carry our papers with us all the time just because they say so. You know what's crazy is once this government is gone, because eventually this government is going to be gone. And once the president's term is over, y'all better get ready for all the lawsuits. Especially all these ICE agents who are beating people up, who are literally taking one of the ICE agents literally shot someone in the eye, and this guy is blind for the rest of his life. And all he was doing was just recording. So y'all better get ready, y'all ICE agents, y'all better get ready for all the lawsuits that are coming your way once this is over. Because nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Y'all better get ready for all these lawsuits that are coming. I do understand trying to get rid of the illegals. I do understand trying to do that. What I don't understand is you violating our constitutional rights and expecting us to just stay quiet and don't say anything. I would not stay quiet. It's not going to happen. I've had it, and I'm going to continue to speak out against what's going on here. This has turned into a dictatorship. This is what this is. Where is the legislative branch and where is the judicial branch? When are you going to keep these people in check? What do we even have three branches in the government for? What for? If they can do the job for the American people. What's going on here? Since when did we turn into the American nightmare? This was not what was promised to us. This was not why we put this president in power. What is going on, America? Wake up. This cannot keep going on. And I know exactly what the playbook is. The playbook is to provoke these people as much as we can so that these people go crazy, and then I can enact martial law and not have elections. At least I'm going to try. That's what they're thinking. That's what they are thinking. That's exactly the playbook. And if we don't do something about it, America, we are going down. We are going down. We need to wake up. We see what's going on. We are not stupid. We see exactly what is going on. Kristi Noem can go kick rocks somewhere. We are not giving up our constitutional rights. It's not going to happen. ICE agents need to have, just like the police, they need to have a probable cause to walk up to somebody and ask them for their ID. I told you guys this was going to happen. They were going to go for the illegals first, and then they were going to go for the naturalized citizens. And guess what's going to happen after that? They're going to go for everybody, especially minorities, because I know what the end game is. of all these people who are empowered. The end game is to clean up house and make this country white again. That's the end game. If we don't grow some balls, this country is going down. These people we have in power are dumb as a rock. And if they were Democrats and they were doing the same, I will tell them the same. So don't come with this thing telling me that I only attack the Republicans, because if they were Democrats and they were doing what the Republicans are doing right now, I will still call it out. I equally dislike the Republicans and I equally dislike the Democrats. The Republicans just happen to be in power right now. I hope we wake up, because this is going to end up badly. This is going to end up badly. I can see a civil war coming up in this country. I can see a civil war coming up in this country if we don't do something. This is JC Diaz Uncensored. I'll see you guys on the next video. See you next time. Peace.